Hello guys and welcome to my new video, and today we're going to make a prediction for the 2028 presidential race probably against JD Vance and Gavin Newsom, the governor of California and the incumbent vice president, probably president at that time, but we'll see what's going to happen in the future. So this is the map, at least according to my expectations in terms of safe results. I didn't put Florida and Texas, we're going to talk about those later, but I forgot about New York, of course. Let's put New York. And let's put Texas and Florida. But this is the map, at least both candidates start with this map in terms of very likely seats, okay? I know I'm missing New Mexico, and I'm missing, of course, Indiana and Ohio. So I know I'm missing New Mexico, and I know I'm missing Virginia, but those are still Democratic, but not very likely Democratic. And look at this, I'm leaving up New Jersey, because New Jersey is starting to be more competitive, at least in the last years. Harris only won by 6 points. If I'm leaving, like for example, Arizona, I need to leave up New Jersey for that very reason. So, what I think about this is, at least in terms of the polls we got so far, we got 3 polls, Emerson and Yahoo News. This one says Vance +3, then we got a tie, and then we got Newsom +8. So Newsom +8 is just not possible at all. I don't think that's even conceivable, but people still, okay, let's just see. I think that's not correct. It's not what's going to happen. Nor Vance +3. I think it's a little bit too much. So I think this could be the most precise poll, at least so far, what we have right now. Because I do think Vance is slightly weaker than Trump. Of course, he's weaker than Trump. Anybody in the Republican Party, at least in terms of winning anything, presidential races or gubernatorial races, they're always weaker than Trump at overall scene. So I think she's going to get, Trump won the popular vote by 1.5 or 1.6. So I do think he's going to lose the popular vote, but I think he can win the election. Winning or not will depend a lot in the economy. For example, in aspects like interest rates and that Trump wants Powell to reduce it immediately. We got a meeting this week and we got a result. Again, Trump wants again to put pressure on Powell to make it more, to shrink the interest rates. Also, we got the tariffs. It could be not a great thing for the economy as a whole. We got the deficit problems, government in the risk of a shutdown, and we also have a lot of problems in terms of the job market and also in employment, facing probably a rising crisis. Because and we also got a revision down in the job market, about 900,000 jobs that weren't even created, and the Bureau of Labor said they were there and they won't and they wouldn't. So this will just be something headwinds for the 2028 cycle, even 2026 in the short term, and we'll see about that, if that will continue or not being a bad sign for the Republican campaign in 2028. But what's most important here is, now let's move to New England. So we have Maine. Maine, as you know, divides the electoral votes in terms of the electoral districts, as well as Nebraska. Let's just start on Maine. The Democrats will get the first district. This is just around the most democratic area, the most diverse area, has a lot of college degrees and everything, and it's very, very Democratic friendly. Okay, this is the point number 1. Point number 2 is Maine second. I expect it to be likely red. Trump won by 10 points, but I don't think Vance is going to win by a much smaller margin. And we got Maine at large will be Democratic, but just, I think, likely Democratic as well. So we added about 4 electoral votes to the map. 119 to 179. So let's move on to New Hampshire. New Hampshire will be likely, no, it's going to be lean Democratic, okay? Lean Democratic, because I do think the Democrats are going to win there. Harris won, just barely, only about 2 points. It was a little bit more than 2 points. It was 2.8. So 2.8 points here. Harris won, but it was much more competitive than in 2020, in part because Trump is doing much better here around Manchester, Nashville, and the suburbs, just to the very close to the Massachusetts border. You know that this is a very important part of the Republican coalition here, and also that they need to run it up. There's no way. In Salem, for example, Atkinson, this is the name of the town, Newton, and the Democrats need to run it up in New Hampshire, here around Portsmouth area, and also around Hanover, beautiful college town there. And you go to Conway, beautiful skiing resort there. Also, the Democrats need to run it up here. And you go Concord, of course, the state capital, where the Democrat space is. Trump lost by about 27 points. and that is expected. At least it is always expected. But only 23,000. The Republicans are continuously gaining in terms of voter registration. They have a Republican governor, Kelly Ayotte. Also, they had a previous Republican governor, Chris Sununu, and this could be a competitive state in a bad year for the Democrats. In a great year, I think the Democrats will win, and even in a not so great year, they will still win it. So I think it's going to stay lean Democratic for 2028. Now we'll move on to Minnesota. Minnesota was a very surprise for me in 2024 because of very simple reasons. Tim Walz was the chosen vice president for Kamala Harris ticket, and she only won Minnesota by 4.2 points. That was not great at all, even though she did great here around St. Paul area. Ramsey County is very important. It's the capital of the state. St. Paul, a lot of Democratic friendly groups. Look at this, 120,000. It was just because of that she won the state. It was because of St. Paul. Then you go to Hennepin County. It's Minneapolis, a lot of big county, the biggest county in the state. Lots has a lot. They need to get at least 300,000 plus vote margin here, and Kamala Harris got 305,000 votes here in terms of the margin, and that was important for her win in Minnesota. Then you move to the suburbs. You have Anoka County, you have also Washington County and Dakota County, but Anoka is the most important county in terms for the Republican win in the state of Minnesota. They need to get 10% plus in terms of the margin here in Anoka to win. Trump only got about 4 percentage points. It was around 10,000 votes. So he needed to do better in Anoka, and also Trump is doing much better in all of the rural counties. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think Vance is going to win because it's so difficult. Trump barely lost in 2016 against Clinton, but that was a different area. So I think it's going to be unlikely for the Democrats. Then we move on to New Jersey. New Jersey was a state that was very competitive. At least for me, it was a surprise, given how competitive it was. I know Jack Ciattarelli almost won it in 2021 in the gubernatorial race there, but that was a different environment. Biden was very tired. I would say, quote that. Just it was on. Of course, it's just an expression. It was very tired out of the pandemic and all that stuff, and all the recovery after the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, and it was because of that the Democrats did so poorly. Even lost Virginia to Glenn Youngkin in 2021. But this is a different year. I thought maybe, okay, it's 2024. I know Biden approval rating is down, but let's just see. Kamala might go in by 10, 15, or even the same as Biden, or even at least 15. But no, it was not that. It was around 7 points, 6 point something points that she won. It was very competitive, in part because of Ocean County. Look at this, the margin, 36 points. Also here, Monmouth County. Those are the two biggest Republican counties produced here, but they also need to be very competitive in Bergen County. This is the most competitive suburb, and it's the biggest county as well in the state of New Jersey. They need to get huge margins here, and Harris almost won it by, barely won it by only 3 points. I think it's going to stay Democratic, I think, in a likely margin, New Jersey. So I'm going to say about Virginia, I think it's going to stay the same because the Democratic strength here around Fairfax County and also all the Washington, D.C. suburbs around the just across the Potomac River and also around Virginia Beach, they're winning this areas. Even Harris in a not so great year around the suburbs of Richmond, they're doing much better. And I still think they're going to win Virginia. Now we'll move on to New Mexico, same thing. Even though Trump did much better, he only lost the state, as you can see here, by only 7 points. It was much better than previous Republicans did it in New Mexico, of course, since John Obama was back, basically, since 2008. And Bernalillo County is the biggest county. Trump did great there, only 21 points down, and it was part of the reason Trump only lost by 55,000 votes in the state of New Mexico. And I think it will stay Democratic. Then we move on to the blue wall. I'm going to leave Nebraska second. I think it was going to end up like this. Lean Democratic because Harris still won it. Not so great here, so that is trending Democratic. Also, Nebraska first was the only part of the country that trended left in terms of a state or a congressional district. Oh, also, we got Arizona and Nevada. Arizona is going to stay that Republican by a lean margin. Trump won it by about 6 points or something. It was around 6 points, yeah. Maricopa County, 4 points for Trump. That was an impressive win. Even by my standards, I thought, okay, maybe Arizona can go 4 or 3 points, but not 6. It was 6 points, and Trump is doing much better in Yuma County. He barely won here in 2016, and he expanded a little bit in 2020, and now he won by about 20 points in Yuma County. Then we move on to the state of Nevada. That's the Latino population. Trump won by 4 points. I'm sorry, by 3.1 points. He barely lost Clark County and also Washoe County, the suburbs of Reno. And he's doing much better in all of the red counties as well. So I think he's going to win Nevada. Jeff Vance is going to win Nevada because of not by a very tilt margin, but I think he's going to win Nevada. Now the Republicans are at 236. They just need a little bit more. So let's move on to Georgia. Georgia is one of the most competitive states, and this could be one of the states that will swing to the left the most because of the little Metro Atlanta area. So I think this can go Democratic Georgia for 2028 by a very tilt margin. Then we move on to North Carolina because I'm just counting on the trends that are here, and this might trend more Democratic. Then we move on to North Carolina. This is a very important state for any Republican campaign. It's still more Republican than the rest. In a not so great year, the Republicans can still win the state of North Carolina. So I think that this will stay Republican for tilt margin for 2028. Then we have this 3. So at this point, Vance just need one. He just needs one to go. He just needs not one. He just needs Pennsylvania. Yeah, but if he doesn't win Pennsylvania, it's game over. But I think Pennsylvania will go for Vance. Okay? Why? Because Pennsylvania is a state that has been trending. Trump won by about 2 points, almost 2 points in Pennsylvania. It's a state that I have a video in the channel about, is Pennsylvania turning out to be the next Ohio? And I do think Pennsylvania can be the next Ohio. Not in a huge terms, of course, not a huge margin, but I think it's going to be a state that the Republicans can still win in not so great year like North Carolina it is, and this could go like that. So I do think Vance's going to win Pennsylvania, and he's going to lose Michigan, and he's probably going to lose Wisconsin as well. So this is what I mean. He's going to lose Wisconsin, he's going to lose Michigan. So this will be my final map so far. 271 for JD Vance and 267 for Gavin Newsom. We'll see if Gavin Newsom can improve his margin, special round. He just needs to flip Pennsylvania and also North Carolina, and also I don't think he's gonna ever win to Arizona, but also Nevada. And if that happens, it will be 308, and it's a win for the Democrats. We'll see if that can happen. We'll see what the future has. We're gonna have very important elections this year, also next year, and we still have a long way to go until 2028. So. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to have another version of this video in the comments, like JD Vance against Andy Beshear or any other, or Josh Shapiro or any other candidate, please ask me, and I'll be very happy to do so. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your like, and we'll see you in the next. Thank you.